note cards because I'm not that good. Is that good?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
great.
This seems so ridiculous.
I don't know how I feel.
I do feel like I work at the help desk. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stand up here. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Hi. Welcome to Myrtle and Maude's. I know a lot of the events are like on the other side of Traverse City, so when they asked us to do this, we were like, yes. Like it's so hard to get Traverse City to come this way. Like, come to Delk Rapids, come to Williamsburg. There's a lot growing in this side of the town, and like West Bay, it's all beautiful, but it is a different. It's just as beautiful out here. We don't have as much wine, except Boss Winery is in Delk Rapids, which is an awesome place to go visit. If you've never been there, you should definitely go. Their wine garden is so cute. It's right downtown. But we don't have the vineyards, but we have the apples and we have cider, and so it's nice that we were able to reach out and get all of you guys to come this way and see what we're all about. So a couple things before I get to my note cards, so I don't forget what I'm supposed to say. I have 3 things I'm supposed to say that Maude told me. 1, everybody gets a caramel apple before they leave, so they're right here on the red stand. They are my mom's famous caramel apples. So I mean, there's caramel apples everywhere in Traverse City, but if you haven't had Maude's, then you haven't had the best, because they're a secret recipe and they are the best. So, truly homemade, right here on the farm from our apples. We used a Mac on these. Everybody always asks us, what kind of apple is in it? It's a Macintosh this time. It just changes as the season goes, but it's like a crisp apple, but you gotta try one. So make sure you grab one. There's nuts, sprinkles, and plain, and if you go to leave and like the kind you want isn't there, there's more inside, you can trade it out. After this, everybody is going to get our special little ice cream treat. So we have soft serve ice cream inside, and in the summer we use a lot with our cherry products like cherry slush, and we layer that, or cherry pie, and we layer that with ice cream, but now it's all switched to apple. So tonight you guys are all going to get fresh apple cider from Northern Michigan apples, layered with soft serve ice cream and a little sprinkles on top. So after we get through this speech, we'll hand those all out to you guys, so don't miss that. And then there'll be 2 more wagon rides. Even if it's 7 o'clock, Farmer Paul will take you another one. It's the most beautiful time to see the farm. It's a 15-minute ride. He'll take you all around, show you, give you a quick little down and dirty of the farm. On the weekends, we do wagon rides from 12 to 4 every weekend, Saturday and Sundays. You can bring your family out. And that wagon ride is like 20 to 30 minutes. It's super kid friendly, so we'd love to have everybody out, but he wants to take you on a quick one tonight. So please stay and do that, because that's why we open this place, is to show you guys the farm and show you the life that we have here. So just make sure you don't miss that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so welcome to the farm. Like I said before, this is the best time of year on the farm, is the fall. It's our most favorite time of year. It's beautiful all summer long. The blossoms, like we said earlier, that side of Traverse City is beautiful with blossoms too, but if you want to do blossom tours, I'm telling you, you come down Elk Lake Road in the summer, it's unreal. The apples and cherries all bloom, and it's beautiful. July, it's beautiful with all the cherries and the fresh fruit and the sunshine, but this time of year, there's just something about it that my family loves so much, like the smells, and you have to experience it. That's part of the reason you got to do the wagon ride. So we're happy that you're here tonight, and we got this beautiful weather. Like, this is perfect. A little warm for soup. Sorry about that, but it's okay. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys, first of all, that we're happy and thankful and like so humbled that you're here, because this is amazing. I gotta just do quick few thank yous to my number 1, my husband. I said I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't getting emotional, but I'm so thankful for him. We have 4 crazy kids, 3 boys and 1 little girl, and it's a wild ride, and he supports me through all of this, and every idea I have, he's like, okay, like, you know the best, you're the decorator, like, let's do it. So thank you to him first and foremost, then to my parents, my mom and my dad, and my brother Weston, who's not here, my dad and my brother, for this farm and how hard they work, and believing that my mom and I could do something like this to make it better. I'm thankful for them every day, and I'm thankful for my sisters. I have 2 sisters. There's 4 of us, so I have 2 sisters I'm super close with. I'm very thankful for them and their families. They put a lot of sacrifice, I feel like, a lot of times for my mom and I to do our crazy hobbies and the things. They all say that we work too much, but that's what we live for. So, my mom and I don't sit still, and they know that about us. So I'm thankful for them and their support. I'm thankful for Grandma Birdie right there. She's my mother-in-law. So she's the baker of the farm. She bakes everything homemade that we have: apple pie, cherry pie, pumpkin pie, everything, and she's amazing. So if you haven't had any of her pies, she stocked up the market this week for this event and for the weekend. She's an amazing, incredible baker, and I'm so thankful for her and her friendship. I'm lucky to have her as a mother-in-law and how much she loves my children, so that's important to me. So, and then another thing, like, I feel like this has really been weighing on me heavily since I was like, since Carrie, where's Carrie? There she is. Since she told me to like write this article, we want to come out to the farm, and it's just been like, oh, Sadie, but I just want to make one thing clear, like, there wouldn't be a Myrtle if there wasn't a Maude. So, this is silly. I shouldn't be crying, I'm happy. So, she'll kill me for doing this, but, you know, this is what she gets for making me come up here. Because there's no way in hell she would ever do this, and that's what she would tell you, like, oh, hell no. So, I'm thankful for her and for her belief in me and for her always pushing me to be my best. My connection with my mom is so strong. We're 50-50 partners in this. We're junkers at heart, we're best friends, but mostly and most importantly, we're mother and daughter, and so that's super important to me. So let's hear from Maude. All right, so most of you have read my article, I think, that are here, so I feel like it was kind of, when I sat down to write this speech, I was like, oh, it's so redundant to tell my story again. If you're shaking your head, you haven't read it, you know, you'll go home and read it. I'll tell you quick. I'm a nurse. This is very uncomfortable for me. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just like all of you. I'm not a speaker. I don't have a degree in business. I don't have a degree in agriculture. I'm very uncomfortable up here. Like, my family knows how uncomfortable I am. Like, give me a level 1 trauma with an open femur fracture and a shattered pelvis. I'm good. I'm cool and collected. But this is like not my thing. So, but I'm really. I thought that I would kind of switch gears and tell you more about like what I learned in the last 2.5 years since we opened this, and what my goals are, like what I really hope personally to be for myself, because I think it kind of portrays to everybody. So a little quick history of the farm. This is a 3rd generation farm on our way to a 4th. My brother is taking over the farm. He works right alongside my dad right now, but his goal is to own the farm as well, with my sister-in-law Bailey right there with the brand new baby. So we're on our way to our 4th and hopefully becoming a 5th someday. We're raising up our 5th, I think. We have 9 grandkids on the farm. 6 are boys. So, I mean, come on, the chances are good, I think. My great-grandpa bought the farm originally way back in the day, and it was more of a hobby for him. He was a medical salesman, and so he bought the farm, and, you know, his full-time job was medical sales, and then he farmed on the side. And when my grandparents got married, after they were married for a while, they bought the farm from him, and then my grandparents had the farm with their 5 children. But my grandpa was a builder, so at the same time it was like they had the farm and the construction business. And then when my dad graduated, after he was like 18, he decided that this is what he wanted to do. He was the baby of the family, and he took it over. So they became a partnership. They bought the farm, and since then they've grown it. So they bought our farm right here is mostly apples, and it goes this way, but our farm is kind of broken up along Elk Lake Road that way and to the north. Total, we've owned 300 acres. 240 of those acres are cherry, and about 60 are apples. So, yeah, it seems big, but in the scheme of things, it's not a very big farm when you talk about like corporate, which I'll get to. So, right now where we are, this is my parents' house. That blue house that you pass on the way here is where I grew up. I have 4 siblings. I live a mile that way, and then the rest of us live like right around the block. So we're all really close. We're a super close family. And part of like opening up the market and deciding to put the market here instead of like on a main road like 72 or 31 where we get so much traffic. I mean, it was a huge debate for us for a long time, and financial reasons, but then also just like, well, how are we gonna share like where we are? And our whole purpose of doing this was to promote like the family farm, and I mean, what else than to do it in their backyard, right? So here we are. This is our farm, and we are like, this is as raw and real as it gets. So that's what's important to us, and to bring people in so they can see what agriculture is all about, and that it is a real thing. Like, your fruit and your vegetables really do grow on trees, and people really do, you know, pick them and produce them. So that was important for us. So that's why we're here. And, you know, you'll see with every family there's struggles, and with our family, you know, we're evolving and growing, and one of the biggest struggles was how are we going to get this this farm to survive, and what's our next future generations going to look like. So with that being heavy on our minds, you know, my mom and I and our junking habits, and we had this vision, like let's just do it. Let's do it. So we opened this farm market, and you're going to see lots of, like you see everywhere, lots of little farms opening up these little stands or these little tasting rooms and trying to promote farming in a different way. If you don't modernize your farm, you're not going to be sustainable anymore. Like, that's just not how the world works. And so to continue with traditional farming is just not the way of the world. So unfortunately, it's sad, and it can be very depressing. Like, I'm sure a lot of you passed Pulsifer's farm on the way here, and on either side of 31, all of those tart cherries were in their prime of production, just ripped out. Across the street, same thing. Those are piles of tart cherry trees in their prime, just ripped out, and been sitting there for a couple years. So I think, you know, living in northern Michigan, a lot of us are well aware that that is happening, but I feel like maybe sometimes we don't know exactly why. I want to share with you a little bit of why that's happening. I do have some like statistics in here just to kind of really, you know, give it home, but I'll try not to read too much. Since 2018 in Michigan, there has been 1,915 acres of tart cherries planted, but 3,350 pulled out. So like, you'll never, you know, you're playing the catch-up game. If you're pulling out more than you're planting, eventually it'll be obsolete. And so some people say, as like with the tart, I'm just speaking tart cherries too, not just farming, just tart cherries. So like, is the industry shrinking, or are we consolidating? And honestly, it probably is more like consolidation. These big corporations are coming in and buying these small family farms, and what's happening is, you know, the small family farms like this are turning into these large corporate farming locations. Which, is that a bad thing? No. I mean, in my heart, would I rather have a big corporation come and buy our whole 300 acres instead of somebody come and subdivide it? Absolutely. You know, everything stays farming, and that's so important, especially in northern Michigan, and why we call northern Michigan our home, what we love. So it's kind of a bittersweet, but the bad part about that is it's killing the small-time farmer like this. It's taking these places and you won't see them anymore. So another reason that farming and cherry farming struggles so much in northern Michigan is labor costs in and out of facilities. So in 2022, the cost of a farmer being paid for their fruit, so this is just a tart cherry, they made 19 cents a pound to sell their tart cherries. To break even for what all their labor costs, they needed 25 to 30 cents a pound. So you're not even breaking even. Hence, forget it. It's not worth it. You know, after a few, and the market goes up and down. Weather obviously affects it, but after a few years of that over and over again, that's exactly what happens right across the street. And another thing, like superbugs, SWD. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that. It's a bug that's really affected the industry of any soft fruit: blueberries, strawberries, cherries. It penetrates the fruit, and it's been a real struggle to find something that's going to kill that off. So that's another thing. But the biggest obstacle, the biggest one, is imports. And that's something that, you know, is really difficult. Michigan provides 70 to 75% of the U.S. tart production in the United States. So we make a ton of cherries, we grow a ton of cherries, but the United States imported 3,800 gallons of tart juice concentrate in 2022 alone. And that had doubled since 2013, when it was only 1,400. Processed tarts, so tarts that are used in cherry or in ice cream, in cereal, anywhere you see like a dried processed cherry. So we've quadrupled that number since 2013. We brought in 12,791 pounds from other countries, when normally in 13 it was only 3,300. Like, that's a crazy amount, like quadrupling that. I mean, it's just inevitable what's going to happen to the market in the United States. So it's depressing and it's overwhelming, and I don't want you to think like, oh my God, she's giving this most depressing speech ever. America sucks. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. But I mean, truly, like, did anybody look at like where their bag of apples was when they bought from Costco last week? Like, did you look where those apples came from? I mean, it's a real eye-opener, and I don't want to depress everybody. And, you know, while opening this market gave me like my dream come true of like having the storefront and being able to repurpose furniture and sell it that way and kind of like support my obsession with junk. That's great. But it also has really brought me back to like my connection with the farm, which was what my number one goal was. But it also kind of has brought it to my attention like how local farmers and local businesses really do struggle, and that I'm not always doing my part. So like I said earlier, you'll see, oh God, that's not good. You'll see more places like this, you know, pop up for the agritourism, small time farms to get you in here. So I kind of want to talk about that now, like what I've learned. So can you guys raise your hand who has a sticker on their water bottle or a t-shirt that says, and I hate to say it because it's almost like become like something that just kind of irks me a little bit. Like it's so cliche, but like support your local farmer. Raise your hand if you have anything that says that on it. No? Nobody has like a t-shirt or what about? Shop local. That counts too. So we all have that kind of stuff, right? But like, do we really do this? I don't, and I'm not like, I don't. I mean, the farmers are just as guilty, I think, as anybody else. Like, I always have big hopes. I feel like, oh, on Friday, I tell my mom, I don't know how many times, I'm gonna go to the farmer's market and I'll grab this Friday. Like, I'll grab something there. Or I'll be at Meijer and I'm like, oh, I'll get all my main stuff here, but I'll swing on the way home and get my produce. Like, I'll go to that strawberry stand and get my local produce. And then it's like, oh, but these strawberries are 2 for $6. Good price. And Susie just shit her pants in the car. And I really need to go home and clean all the pee off the back of my toilet because my friends are coming home tonight. Like, well, I'll just get them here. I don't have time to go there. I mean, like, honestly, like, who, like, it's for real. So, it's not just you. It's everybody. And it's not just. I'm not just saying this like for farmers. Like you should go buy fresh strawberries. And I'm saying for all local businesses, the gifts and the little gift shops, the small businesses online that you can order from, the places that you can go stay and support their small businesses. All those places. So I just, I think that we all need to like slow down in life and not just choose the easy Amazon. I'll order off of Amazon, I'll be here in a couple days. Like, why don't we take the time to go buy the gift for my mom's birthday downtown Elk Rapids? Like, why don't I do that? I know that those businesses are just like us farmers, like they need that support. So it starts with a little change. I mean, maybe we all just say like, I'm gonna buy all my immediate family Christmas presents from a small business this year. Or I'm gonna buy whatever fruit is in season, like apples. I'm not buying any store-bought apples. I'm buying my apples from the small farms that surround me that I pass every day to and from work. Like, maybe it's that one little change that leads to the next. That's what I'm going to try for myself. And then, promote other people to do the same. I've learned a lot in the 2.5 years of owning this business, and even more recently when I was asked to give this speech, because I was like, man, I really had to do some self-reflection. So I want to be able to pride myself with like the slogans I wear on my shirt, with the shop local and support American farming. Like I want to know that I'm accountable for that, and I don't just wear it because it's trendy and cool. Like that's really who I am. So I really kind of challenge you guys all to do the same. We're all busy moms and wives and daughters, and I get that. Like trust me, I get it to the max. Like my family's crazy, but if we could just make one little change, I just think in our immediate community, what it would do for the local cherry industry, which would be awesome. So I'm glad you're here. I just ask that you take the time to reflect while you're here on how amazing this atmosphere is. Reflect on yourself as a consumer and take in all the beauty that surrounds you here. And just remember that feeling that it gave you next time you reach for those Costco apples.